Welcome to the All Access Entertainment Podcast. I am your host, Joseph Bruen, a very special guest this week, Thea Vidale. Welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you?
Very good. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here, and I know the fans have been looking forward to it, so thank you for taking the time.
Oh, no problem. Glad to do it.
So rewinding back, years from now, your first memories of TV and film growing up, what would you say that would be?
God. I remember when I was a young girl, we used to watch on Saturday. We would watch Sky King, Jim Bowie, Shotgun Sleigh, and Wanted Dead or Alive, and Paladin. Oh yeah, those are things, and comedy shows. Well, we watched Jonathan Winters and oh goodness, there was so many. I used to watch Phyllis Diller and female comedians, the Toady Fields, and just a lot of television. But you have to remember, television wasn't like it is now. You know, we didn't have but 3 channels,
Yeah, it's true.
and these children wouldn't last a day, especially with black and white. I
Right.
just- yeah. I even remember watching Amos and Andy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
And it was actually a funny show, very funny show,
Yeah.
pretty well written.
Uh,
Uh, Jackie Gleason, he was funny.
yeah.
Uh, but the funniest one I have to say is Jonathan Winters. It was very funny. And it's so funny that I got my break from Rodney Dangerfield, you
That's right.
know.
You were part of his special, right? Early
Yeah,
on.
I did
Yeah.
his special. And so it was like, in a weird way, being programmed to, because I've always been funny. I've always been silly. I call it silly. Um, but I think watching them, it was fun. They were fun,
Right.
and except for Lawrence Welk, it sucked. I just did. Yeah, I can't do it. The King family. See, they don't remember those shows
Mm,
because they're they were family oriented,
right.
and you watch what you're exposed to. I watched a lot of westerns. I like Bonanza and all of that. But I always thought I would, when I was young, I always dreamed of being on TV, but I didn't know how I would get there. I
Right.
didn't know that.
And obviously, Rodney Dangerfield, that was a big part of you, like you said, breaking into the business in 1986. You're doing stand-up comedy, just getting involved. How did you get involved? How did it all start for you?
I used to work in this restaurant, and these people would take me, told me I didn't belong there. You have to remember, I worked in a place that used to be a sundown town. Um, but it changed some kind of way. And I was the first black to work in this restaurant, Steak and Egg Kitchen. And redneck white people tell you in your face, you don't belong here. And I said, we talking about that again? They would say, no, we don't mean that way. We mean you funny. You should be at a comedy club. I go, I don't know where no comedy club is. And they said, we'll take you to one. As luck would have it, they took me to a comedy club, and I watched it. It was like, oh, this is how it gets done. And then I came back on my birthday the next week because I was terrified. And I wrote down what I wanted to say about my job and stuff. And And they were laughing. The audience was laughing, but I didn't look at the audience. I looked at the three people that brought me to the comedy club because I was terrified.
Yeah.
And then the owner, Danny Martinez, said, "We want you to come back again." And I did, and it was like a drug. Comedy is like a drug. You can't just turn it off and quit. It's uh, it's a s- it's a spiritual thing. It's a drug thing. It's the thing. It becomes the thing that keeps you going, and when you're in despair,
Right.
it's deeper than just getting up there and telling jokes and getting a check. It's deeper than that. I don't think most people realize that.
And you basically were a part of a groundbreaking moment by getting your own sitcom named after you. You were the first to do so. Thea, of course, in 1993. What was that experience like, being a part of such a big moment like that?
I don't think I realized how important it was. Fame, fame is something else, and I didn't consider myself famous. I remember one time, this lady was following me in the grocery store, and she was just staring at me and stuff. And I said, "What are you looking at?" And she said, "Well, aren't you the lady that's on TV?" And then I went, "Oh, oh." Like it was weird. It was really weird, and nobody can prepare you for it.
Sure.
Nobody prepared me for it anyway. And it was fun. I mean, I wish I had had more fun, but it was an adventure. I would I do it again? Yeah, but I do a lot of things different.
Mm. And just the structure of it, how much did it differ to go from stand-up comedy to acting on a sitcom? What was that like, that
Okay,
transition?
when you act on a sitcom, it's like people give you some words to say, and you have to decipher you say what they want you to say. Whereas I was like fiending to get on stage. I was like, I had to tell my manager. I said, "Bernie," I said, I need to get on stage, and I want to get on stage. I need to release because on television it's scripted. It's not that stand up isn't scripted. It's just different because I'm saying what I want to say,
Right.
how I want to say it, and sometimes television uh doesn't lend itself to that. Because one time there was a scene where we were playing spades, and me and Jason Weaver, we just ad libbed and got to it. It was so hilarious. The cameramen were laughing, everybody was laughing. And then I said to the director, "Did you film it?" And he said, "No." And
Mm.
that like broke my heart. It's like, how could you miss a moment like that? Um, Television sometimes doesn't lend itself to letting you be free on a sitcom.
Yeah.
But on stage, I can be free. I can say whatever I want to say.
Yeah. And it's hard to take it in the moment, of course. But looking back at Thea the sitcom, what would you say is your greatest takeaway from that?
Um, Trust no one.
Mm. Yeah.
Everybody has their own agenda. Believe me, privately, everybody has their own agenda. Uh, I loved I loved laughter, and when they had the live audience there, that was cool. And but there's so much. I remember when we did the pilot, and after everybody, they were taking everything down, and I sat there, and I just sat there, and just realized that I had I had my dream. I did a dream. I had my dream.
Yeah.
Now I have to create a new dream.
Right.
And that was kind of hard. When they were taking the set down, I was sitting there watching them take it down. And I said, wow, well, I did do something nobody else did. I'm cool. But when I realized we really are doing it,
Yeah.
then that was illuminating for me. That was uh, I got my show on Mother's Day, and I was in Huntsville, Alabama, and Brian Mercer announced to the audience that I had gotten a TV show on ABC. So that was cool that I was around people that I considered my family. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's been illuminating.
And you've been a part of a lot of projects, so as you said, that was your dream. You're living your dream. When that show came to an end, how do you what's the secret to staying busy in the industry and getting into that next? Because you stayed pretty busy and you were always doing something.
Because I didn't want work is everything to me. I love to work, and the thing of it is that what happened was I kept on. Ellen called me, Drew Carey called me. I was always doing something, and I appreciated that. I felt that was a blessing to stay working and everything. And my agent and managers, they kept me working, and I love working. I worked so much that I said, "Where am I going next?" And he said, "Thea, stay at home, get a life." And I realized after I had stopped finally working to slow down was that I did not have a life.
Mm.
I just wanted to work. That's all I knew was work, 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 work. And now I'm a grandmother and stuff, and the COVID came. That's when it really hit. It's like I'm not working. And I'm used to working. I worked on a cruise ship, you know what I'm saying? I'm working, 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 working. And then the the pandemic came and I was just like, what am I do now? I can't I even got on Zoom and that's how bad I wanted to do it. But
Yeah.
I had five grandsons here, so they they were stuck here, and we had desks and chairs in the living room, and they were doing work on virtual, and so I stayed pretty busy that with that a little bit. Work is everything. Other than God, there's just work to me, and I love to work. I don't see why I should. I'm almost 70, but I still like to do it.
Yeah.
I love to make people laugh and think about what I said, and is it is it too crazy what I say? Because I do say a lot of crazy stuff. I know that. I'm aware. Um, uh, the the way the country is now, what the hell? I'm not really tech savvy, and I don't know why this thing keeps doing that. But I'm so sick of these phones. I could just pull my hair out my head. And the thing of it is that uh, it's weird not to be focused on something. So what I want to do is write my life story and do a one woman show
Mm.
because that would be fun to talk about
Absolutely.
everything I've gone through. Now, who'd have thought I'd have been on WWE? Who'd have thought that?
Exactly.
That was fun.
And let's talk
That
about
was
that.
fun.
You played the role of Shelton Benjamin's mama and Momma
Yes.
Benjamin, and you appeared on Monday Night Raw and the Royal Rumble and New Year's Revolution. Lots of appearances. What was that like working for WWE?
You know what? Vince McMahon, that body, just in case women are listening, that body is something else. That body is real, girl. It's hard. It's real. I'm just like, oh my God. Vince, I like Vince. He was very kind to me. I don't know what everybody else is talking about, but he was very kind to me. And the wrestlers, it's nothing like being around a bunch of men that can pick you up and not complain about their back.
Right.
And I remember one incident with Big Show. He said, "I got these 5 filet mignons. You want one?" I'm like, "If not, I'll eat it." Who eats 5 filet mignons? Who eats 5? You gonna eat all 5? All 5 of them? They can let me tell you something about Shelton. All those guys, they would be pumping up and doing all that. Shelton didn't do that. Shelton walked around eating Twix and Twizzlers, and he was athletically supreme.
Yeah.
He was supreme. He was the best athlete out of all of them because it just came it's organic with him. It just came. He would flip over and stuff, and I'd just be looking at him, and the whole training and all of it was fun. It was fun. I just loved being around that many men.
And
They
what was
were
a day in the WWE like for you? You get there for the, later on that evening is Raw or whatever it may be. What are you doing throughout the day leading up to the show?
okay. Sometime I would fly in from doing a show, and I would go to the arena or wherever it was, and I would sit around, read a book, because it was, remember, it's done in the evening.
Mm.
So I'm in there and I am preparing, and they show me what what their script looks like, and we rehearse and all of that, and then it's time to put the moo on and braid my hair up and get on out there. And it was fun to see all of the first time, I gotta say, the first time to see so many people.
Yeah.
It was so many people. And I was like, "Oh my God, look at this." And I was just like, "Oh my God, it's so much." It was, people were just psyched up, and they made you get psyched up. And it was fun. I mean, to have that many people, thousands of people screaming. It
Yeah.
was amazing. It was fun. And then when I had the fake heart attack,
Right.
um I my dress went up, and I said, "Pull my dress down. Pull my dress down. My mama's looking." And but what I had, when I went left, I had a hernia. I had a
Mm.
bunch of hernias. So that was how my left, that's how I left. But I left pretending to have a heart attack. I
Right.
wanted to come back. I missed it. And it was not it was, I couldn't come back.
Mm.
Uh but it was fun while I did it. Actually stayed longer than I was supposed to.
How many shows would you say you did for them?
I don't know, 6 months worth, I think.
Yeah.
I think.
You were there quite a while.
Yeah. Cause Shelton, I wanted Shelton to get the big belt like The Rock and John Cena had. I wanted him to go that way. He didn't want to go that way.
Mm.
He thought that was, he said, the belt is just for the fans. I said, No, the belt is more money. That's what that is.
Yeah.
The belt is what makes you supreme." And he could have easily have been with The Rock and John Cena are. He could have done it, but he didn't feel like that. He didn't feel like that.
During
And
your time there, who would you say was the most helpful, kind of, guiding you through the shows?
Viscera.
Ah, yes, Big Vis.
Viscera was one who, you know, was very helpful, and he he saw what others didn't see. And and I didn't see John Cena too much because he was doing a lot of film work. But um it's another guy that was really cool too. I can't think of him right now, but he was really, really nice. So was Masterpiece. Now this is where the first time I seen where they talked about uh drugs and drinking too much and all of that. And I'm like looking at everybody going, what the hell? But one of the guys, I can't think of the wrestler's name, he had died of a drug overdose. I think it was suicide. I'm not sure, but it was weird, and the vibe was turning because stuff was happening to the wrestlers. You remember the time, um, and I was like, "What are you talking about? What do you mean?" You know, and I did say something crazy. I said, "So if you get a prescription for marijuana, that's a bad thing?" And they were having a wellness meeting, and they said, and Vince laughed. He smiled. He laughed. He found me kind of amusing. I think. Um, he he started smiling, saying, "So if you got a prescription for marijuana, that's a bad thing?" And he that, "Do you have cancer?" I said, "No, I do not." And then the other guys like, "Well, where can you get a prescription?" I said, "I'll tell you later." And then they said, and then they start bringing up steroids. I don't know anything about steroids. And so one guy goes, "Be quiet." I go, "Shut up." I said, "Y'all made this happen to you guys, not me, not me." It's the guy with the kilt. Anyway, he's like, "You shouldn't be." I said, "Shut up. You don't tell me what I can talk about. Shit. I'm grown. I'm old enough to be your mama." And i- but it was really serious.
Yeah.
They it's a lot. People don't realize, as much as they want to wrestle and perform for the audience, they have dilemmas too. Wrestlers are human beings too, and they have pain and they have suffering, and some of them got all this money, and no, it's almost like they hunger for something else. Does that make
Mm.
sense?
Yeah. Right.
Okay,
Absolutely.
because they love doing what they do. You couldn't, you don't see average people taking a chair to the head and not like it. Although I would have shot you, but that's just me. But but I realize they have pain. They have pain, and I don't think people take that into account. I think they just want what they want, and I don't regret anything that I did. I love being on WWE. It was wonderful.
Yeah, you were very entertaining. You had a great run there. It really was entertaining.
It was fun. And then I mean, when you do uh comedy shows like Women of a Certain Age and stuff, uh I I enjoyed just the sisterhood, but I did 85 South. That was fun. That podcast, that was fun. Uh as long as it's fun, I'll do it.
Sure.
But when it stops being fun, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I don't want, and if you start asking me serious stuff, then you get a serious answer, then you get upset because I gave you what you wanted. You
Right.
get upset because it's not what you wanted to hear.
Right.
And sometimes it is what it is. This business is getting more and more treacherous. I realize that now. It's not like when in the '80s when I started. Uh, it's I was
That
a
was actually
road
my
warrior.
next. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was a road warrior. I drove all over the country, and if when I didn't drive, I got people to. I couldn't even read a map good, and I got somebody that could help me, and I'd map it out, and then I would just drive to Florida overnight. I could do it, you know. It was an adventure in the '80s, uh, and I enjoy. I wouldn't take nothing back. I'd do it again. But also, I realized that with all this technology, you could do a lot of things without a whole lot of people uh, an audience. I don't want to do it. I feed off the audience.
Yeah.
I love my audiences for the most part, and I still love it like I did 40 years ago.
Now, did you have a live studio audience to feed off of on Thea?
Yes,
You did. Okay. Yeah.
when we taped the show, yeah,
Yeah.
and they would laugh at the right times and stuff. I was happy. Um, I wish there had been more. Can you see it when it comes down like that? You
No, I
can't.
don't see anything on my end. No.
Oh, okay, cool. That's cool. I wish I could have been on longer and had more input than I did, because I think sometimes people don't understand the dynamic of uh, of urban family, you know, and it's important that you know your not just your audience but well rounded, because if you don't have money, that's why Roseanne was successful, because her and John Goodman spoke to the masses
Yeah.
of of not having it, not having money, and what it was like, and that they knew what people were going through, because on the show they were going through it.
Right.
And it's important for I wanted for Thea, for women to hold their head up. At first they just wanted me to just be a woman and have 4 babies. No, I wanted to be a widow. I had a husband. That was important to me, that the children knew they had a father, and their mother and father loved each other. Unfortunately, he passed on. That was important to me. Don't make me be a stereotype.
Right.
Don't put me in that. Um, I think that a lot of people uh, don't get uh, what people think about other cultures. Uh, just the little things that I observe uh, about how when Thea got the barbecue place, well, we wanted to get, why does it have to be? I said, no, let it be a Latino man. How you gonna have in Houston and you ain't got no Latino people on the show? Put some Latino people on here, because it's not realistic. It's in Houston, Texas. Hello,
Hmm.
I grew up with Mexicans. What are you talking about? You can't find one.
Right.
I mean, it got to the point that I had to say, there's some in East LA. I know that. Go to the bus stop, go look for somebody that want to act that's Latino. Thank you. I mean, just the little things like that. I realized a lot about Hollywood. A
And do you think
lot.
it's changed a lot? I mean, obviously, you said in certain ways it has, but from the 80s and the 90s to now, what are some of the other things that have changed in your opinion?
Well, first of all, you have so many channels now.
Right.
You have so many channels, so you got a shot. You just got to figure out how to get in there.
Yeah.
Another thing is, uh, they're letting big women be in the forefront now, whereas it was prevalent. You had to be this size or that size, or this shade of black or that shade of black. No, they're evolving. It's just taking a little bit of time. The evolution it's coming, but it's taking quite some time.
Yeah.
um I love Asian men. That's my thing. I love Asian men. And now all of these Asian men are just popping up everywhere. I just love it. I love it. The evolution is slow, but it's coming. But it should have been here a long time ago.
Hmm.
If America says it's America, then it should be here a long time ago. Should have been here a long time ago without that foolishness. Racism is arduous. Um, it's taxing, and I can tell you because just when I was on the road, you know, driving and seeing people, how people react to when they haven't seen somebody black in a long time. I was driving through Mississippi. I had to stop and get gas. And the way some of those people looked at me, you'd have thought I was from Alpha Centauri.
Man,
Yeah, look at what we got here. Shut up.
yeah.
We got a bitch with a gun. We got that.
Right.
How about we
Exactly.
got that? Uh, it's 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 illuminating is how sensitive Americans have gotten. You know, Richard Pryor and George Carlin, they would have just lost their minds in this bullshit. Look at it. Look at it. If you say anything about he who has no name, um uh they get all sensitive and shit. Even on
Mm,
the cruise ship when I was working, they sent us a letter talking about don't say anything about the political climate or Mr. Trump. This is it still America? Can I still say what I want to say?
right. Freedom of
Why can't
speech.
we talk about him? I done talked about every other president,
Yeah.
but we can't talk about him. I ain't never thought I'd see the day when I miss George Bush. I miss his crazy ass. I do. I'm even willing to take what's his name? Dan Quayle.
Oh, Dan Quayle.
Anybody, anybody. Just
Right.
I love the comics that I see now, the young men, they're funny. They're insightful. There's this one named Josh Jackson, I think. Anyway, his name is Josh. He's young and he's insightful and he's on Saturday Night Live and he's very funny and I enjoy watching him. He's very very good at what he does. And it's cuz he's young, he comes from a different perspective. That's what I look at.
Sure.
I I look at comedy and say, why does this work? Why does it work? How does it work? And I watch and I just go, "Oh, that's what it's because comedy is so many things. It's the temperance in their voice, uh how many voices can they do? What are they quirky? Because I think I'm kind of quirky. I think I'm not sure. I say so many words. I say I'm in your face. I start out the gate in your face pretty much,
Right.
but but when I watched myself a few days ago just to see, and I go, "You are absolutely insane." That's what they see. They see their auntie, their grandma that tells them what she feels, how she thinks. And I think when you get a certain age, you don't care. You say whatever the hell you want to say. And that my grandma was 96 years old, and she said some of the craziest shit I ever heard in my life. But it's funny. It's
Yeah.
funny. And I'm glad I got to see it. 96, that's amazing.
That's great.
And she was just a hoot. She would smoke half a cigarette, and she would put the other half in her pocket. And then one time she said, "Ooh, something is stinging me." And I was, I love to watch my mother and grandmother interact with each other. She said, something that she's patting, something is biting me. And my mother is very calm. She's Virgo. She's very calm. She said, "Mother, you're on fire." And I just look at her. I say, "How could you be that calm and say that?" You know. And I said, you just might have should have smoked that other half. Uh, it's amazing what age allows you to do. Some people don't want to talk about their age, and it's like, why not? The longer you here, the more God has blessed you to survive this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if you'd have told me I'd have been in a pandemic and a hurricane and all these other things, I'd have said, But guess what? I was,
And you're still here.
and I'm still here. And the pandemic, that was, I was on a cruise ship when that happened. When it was out, and Puerto Rico wouldn't let us in there. They
Wow.
wouldn't let the ship in there. And they said, take your ass somewhere else. And I was just like, you see, that's what you get for throwing paper towels at motherfuckers. That's what you get. Now they waited. They laid and wait. I said, God will get you even. I said, you threw them paper towels at them people, and they didn't told us to get the fuck on. Where are we going now? Because we
Yep.
had came from Barbados, St. Lucia, and then we went to Puerto Rico, and they wouldn't let us in there, and they wasn't playing with us. They shut it down.
Hmm.
It was like, throw some paper towels some more. Throw some more paper
Yep.
towels. So then we had to go to Miami, and that was messed up too. So we got in Miami, but I mean, it was it was scary.
Yeah.
It was the scariest thing because they weren't telling us anything on the ship. They wouldn't tell us nothing. And everybody started getting kind of, you know, I said, is this how it goes? Is this like what's that movie? Uh where they sing it's got to be a morning after. You just start feeling all kind of
Oh,
weird
yeah.
vibes. And
Oh.
I'm just like, but I miss being on the ship. I like it. I like it. It's minus the rough water and shit. Minus that. And I like going to Alaska. Alaska is beautiful.
Mm.
I got to see eagles mate and stuff, and it's kind of dangerous the way they do it. You know what I'm saying? They glide. It's like, well, y'all know that if you fall,
That's the end of that.
y'all don't want to find a tree.
Right.
You can have sex in a tree, I'm told. I think you're
Yeah.
not thinking this through all the way. And then, you get in Alaska, they tell you what to do if you see a bear. It's like this lady said, I forgot all the shit they told me. And she said, I just took my granddaughter and started running. And I said, you wasn't supposed to run. You know that you wasn't supposed to run. You was supposed to make yourself small, I think. She said, I didn't
Mhm.
she said, all I know is I saw the bear, I grabbed the kid, and I said, let's go.
That was
And
it.
and on the cruise ship they always have some kind of something you could do when you get off the ship, like swim with pigs. Who the fuck wants to swim with a pig?
Yeah.
Now that's some
Good
white
point.
people shit right there. Come on, Joseph, that's white people bullshit. It's bad enough you want to swim with dolphins. You didn't talk some black people into swimming with dolphins, but swimming with pigs, you fuck around and be a slab of ribs. I don't know what's wrong with you when you think of stuff like that. You out of your mind.
Right.
That's not an excursion. Swimming in pig shit, is that an excursion?
No, it's not anything.
Really? That's nasty. That's nasty. And they go, they're not that big, Thea. I don't care. I don't care. It's a pig. The pig had to release somewhere. I don't want no monkeys touching me, none of that, none of that, and damn sure no sloth. And why do white people always like to mess with animals, Joseph? Why? Why,
Good
Joseph?
question.
Why do you like to mess with animals? I don't like animals. I mean, a dog, a cat, I could do that. A dog or a cat, but when you start talking about sloths and letting the iguana get on you and stuff, no, 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 I will kill an iguana. That's why I say carry a knife because you never know when you might have to slice a bitch. That's all I'm saying. I'm not touching animals. I'm not swimming with dolphins. because they're mammals and you could get raped, and that's just a bad thing all the way around. And God don't want you messing with his creatures. He really don't. He just like, I wouldn't do it. I
Right.
just, I mean, really, I mean, did you knew that the crocodile hunter was gonna get it eventually. You knew it. Come on.
Absolutely.
It's
Yes.
like it didn't come from where you thought it was gonna come from, but
No.
you knew. Come on, you
Right.
knew. The jig is up. Quit playing. It was just not animals. But I do like. There is this big dog that I like, a Tibetan something. It's big though. I petted this dog that was big as a bear when I
Wow.
was in Iraq. Yeah, I went to Iraq a
Wow.
couple of times, and I went to Kosovo. That's a raggedy country. I ain't gonna lie to you. Kosovo, but it's a war torn country. See, I
Mm.
don't think the average American has ever seen a war torn country except on TV. To go there and see where they had war against the Serbians and all of that, uh, I don't think America's built for that. I don't think America's built for that. Uh, we can't. We're not built for war in our country. No.
Right.
After I've seen it for myself, you're not. I came to Baghdad when they just had an IED explode, and I can tell you, we're not built for that. We're not. We're not. Because, we get mad when our neighbors don't mow the lawn. So, a IED hole is a big thing. It's not. And you have to be on. We was on alert and shit. I'm just like, this is so not working for me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not
I
gonna work.
go, it did. I did. And when I'm walking on in the base military space, I said, "Excuse me," because they gave us soldiers to guide us, and they said, I said, "Excuse me, this hole here, IED did that?" They said, "Yes, ma'am, it did." I said, "Yes, he did yesterday." "Oh, yesterday. Okay, okay. Well, where can we go?" After we go to Popeyes, can we go somewhere where there's safety? Because I don't feel good.
Yeah.
I don't feel good about this hole. This hole is not working for me.
Mm.
And I mean, I rode the Black Hawk and stuff. It had no doors on it. I was freaking the hell out. My friend said, "Don't be Hollywood." I go, "I'm not being Hollywood. I'm just saying I've seen Black Hawk Down several times and they had doors on the Black Hawk. Why don't we have no doors? I need doors." And then we started shooting at somebody and I was like, "Oh, goddamn. I didn't came halfway around the globe to do a drive-by. What in the hell?" It was weird. It was weird. Because this is okay. If you shoot at something, 9 times out of 10, they gonna shoot back at you. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And this guy from Canada with his crazy ass, he trying to catch the bullets. I'm like, he goes, "They're hot." I go, "Jackass, sit down." Iraq was an adventure. It was. I saw Saddam Hussein's. They got pictures of him everywhere. You know what I'm
Really.
saying?
Yeah.
And they took us to the mansion where he had the helmets of other generals' helmets over his door, and he was saving a spot for Schwarzkopf.
Wow.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He was full of himself. Oh
My
yeah.
goodness. Yeah.
He's on the money. He's on the you know how you have pictures of we have statues and stuff. It's all him. It's all him. It's not nobody else, just him.
Wow.
And then he had a mansion for his mother-in-law. Uh where was it? It was in a lake, and I think that's where his mistress resided in that mansion.
Mm.
And the deal was this: he felt that Allah couldn't see sin on the water.
Wow. That's
So his
interesting.
God was limited. And he had these fish that were surrounded by the man, this, I guess, castle mansion. And these fish, if you walk to the edge, they would come to you. And they were big too.
Hmm.
And they were I've never seen that before. Where have you ever seen it?
I have
Where a
not heard of that.
fish will just
They
go
come to you.
stand by, you're not in the water, you're by the water, and the fish will come. They all just flutter. It was weird. It was weird.
Oh,
And then we stayed in uh saw where Barbara Walters interviewed Sodom. And you think it was very opulent. On TV it looked real opulent.
sure.
Man, that was some plastic shit. What are you talking about? You could have got that at Woolworth. What, the dollar store? You thought it looked like crystals on TV because I've seen it. It looked like diamonds and rubies and plastic like a mug.
Wow, that's great.
It was bullshit. Let me tell you. So I was so bad. I go, on TV, it looks so opulent. Everything. Just, and I said, look at this.
Oh,
This motherfucker was doing the most. He had the swords and all of that. And it was amazing. It
mm,
was amazing because he had us fooled, but his wealth, he had tunnels underneath his castles and stuff.
mm,
So all of the houses, all of the mansions or castles, whatever you want to call them, they would not know when he was coming. So all of the chefs had to cook a meal in waiting for him if he came to that building
right.
where they were. But he would never come to the same place, never.
Uh,
Which was kind of clever if you do the math.
sure.
Yeah, you know. But he had caves all over, and he would go through them, and nobody knew which house he was coming to, not even his mistresses, which
Wow.
was really interesting. And he built a, this is crazy, I'm talking about this. He built the Flintstones?
Yeah.
All of his daughters and their husbands fled. They took their children because he was really crazy. He was crazy. So they took their children and fled. So he built, what's the city that the Flintstones live in?
Oh, uh, I'm drawing a blank. I'm not sure.
I know. Okay, well, anyway, he built a Flintstone castle for his grandchildren. And we got to go there. And I will say this, minus some of the stuff that got blown up. Uh, it was cool.
What?
It really was cool. And that's how he sort of lured his daughters back
Hmm.
so he could kill their husbands.
Oh my gosh.
He was crazy. At
Wow.
least that's what they told us. I don't know. But it was something to see a Flintstone city. Bedrock. That's what it's called.
Bedrock.
Bedrock.
Yes, that's right.
That
Yes.
he built a little miniature bedrock for his grandchildren,
Wow.
which I thought was really cool
Yeah.
until I figured out why he did it.
It was a trap.
It was, don't come back here. Um, but sickness and power is a sickness.
Yeah.
So
And looking at comedy, as a whole, for you personally, if you had to pick a Mount Rushmore of comedy, your favorite top 4 of all time, man or woman, who would that be? Who would your Mount Rushmore of comedy be? Any era?
Bill Hicks, Richard Pryor, George Carlin.
It's always that fourth one that's hard.
Dave Chappelle.
Ah, yes. What
And
a
one more. Uh, wow. Wow. I would say Cat Williams. I have to, no, Josh. Josh. I like Josh.
mm, okay,
I
yeah.
can't think of his last name.
Yeah, you were
Johnson.
mentioned him earlier,
Him.
yeah.
That's it. And they're all men.
It's a great lineup.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. George Carlin, because he was insightful. He would say the truth.
Yeah.
Bill Hicks would say the truth. I remember I was in Lexington, Kentucky, working with, no, Louisville. Louisville. No, it was Lexington. He said, this is his joke. This is coming from a white man. I want you to know this. He says, white people are the cocksucking scourge of the earth. I'd never heard someone say that before, and I busted out laughing. And I was the only black person in the in the comedy club. It was so funny. It was so funny. Not that he said it, but the look on the people's face when he said it.
Right.
And it made me laugh. And I said, look at little white Malcolm X. Go ahead on, baby. And he would say stuff that was just, he would talk about drugs and stuff. And I enjoy watching. See, because that's truth. Comedy is about truth.
Yeah.
And truth is sometimes hard to take, especially when you talk about things that other people deem embarrassing and stuff, like drugs and sex and sometimes people make too much out of everything.
Mm,
Sometimes people never tell you, they say drugs are bad, but they never say about what drugs do. Drugs make you feel good. It takes away the pain. It's just temporary, but it still takes away the pain.
mm,
And people don't talk about that. But that's a real thing. They don't talk about, some people have sex just to feel something human. Everybody's searching to feel human. Everybody wants to be heard. Everybody needs compassion and love. And that's the truth. And a lot of people don't want to talk about that because it's too mushy. It's too there. People now are so phony and not enlightened at all. They're just, ugh. You know, they have no compassion for each other. It's like we're meaner to each other now than we've ever been. And that concerns me. And I talk about it on stage because I'll tell a bitch in a minute, you can take your Karen ass away from here. I can do without you. Because some now people, since Will Smith slapped that dude, slapped Chris Rock, people start getting entitled. Oh, I can go up on stage and slap. If you do, you won't. I bet you might not make it down.
mm,
You may come up here, but you might gonna make it back like you came. Um, people have lost their humanity, I think, and comedy is the last vestige of that. I believe, anyway. It's what God gives us. God, I think God laughs at us. I do, and I just think it's wonderful to be able to make people laugh and make people feel things and make people be vulnerable to be silly. Because that's what I am, a lot silly.
yeah. And when it comes to, appearing on shows, you've been on some of the biggest, from David Letterman to Howard Stern. What were those experiences like? And they're larger than life.
Howard is real, but he's an atheist. And he's nice. He's very nice and respectful to me and kind. And I enjoy being on his show because you could talk about anything. And he doesn't judge or none of that. None of that. David Letterman, he's real finicky. He's
Mm.
funny, but he's finicky. When I first went on his show, I was kind of nervous about doing it because, uh, he had a tete-a-tete, I think, with Madonna or something. They had words or something, and I know that he's a comic first, okay? He's a
Right.
comic first. So if I thought in my mind, if he come for me, I'm gonna come for him. And he was scared of my long fingernails, and that made me laugh. They gave him pause, and I said, "Oh hell, they don't hurt." And he kind of dug me, and then I came back another time. They asked me to be on, and they said, "We're gonna get." They had did something where uh his his musician had sprayed him with water, and so they said, how can we get even? So I rolled up I had evening outfit on, and I had to roll up my pants and pour the water on Schaefer. And I thought that I said, and I ran. He was surprised I could run. That's when I was young, and it was funny, and Dave was nice. I really wish I could have been on Johnny Carson, so
Mm. Yes.
because that's what every comic wanted to be, is on Johnny Carson, because if you was on Johnny Carson, you had arrived, you
Right.
know. And then he had quit, so we didn't get to. A lot of us didn't get to, but we got on Letterman. I've been on Conan. I mean, I didn't like Conan that much. He's dry.
Mm. Yeah, he is dry.
I didn't. He wasn't. He hadn't have no energy to feed off of. David gave you
Mm.
energy. He was fun. He made me laugh and everything.
And you mentioned Drew Carey earlier, and Ellen, of course, you've appeared on.
Yeah.
The Wayans brothers and
Yes.
Ugly Betty. You've appeared in so many different projects. Obviously, Jerry Springer's Ringmaster in 1998,
Yeah.
um, Dr. Jekyll and Miss Hyde. So you've been a
Yes.
part of so many great projects. If you had to pick one, number one experience in your career thus far, anything stand out more than the other?
Mm, other than my TV show,
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, you got to put
other
that
than my
at the
TV
top.
show, uh, wow, God, that's hard to say. I really did dig uh, being on Drew Carey. I really did, and I also I love being on Ugly Betty.
Oh, yes.
They were very nice to me. They were nice to me. I liked it.
Two great ones right there. And in closing, fast forward many years from now, looking back at your career as a whole, what do you want your legacy to be? How do you want to be remembered?
That I may not have been perfect, but I was good. I'm good at what I do.
Yes.
And there's nothing phony about me. I am what I am.
Right. Well, Thea, I thank you so much for taking the time today and being here with us. It's been a treat.
Thank you for having me. I hope I answered the questions. It's like,
Absolutely. This has been great and certainly my pleasure. So for the great Thea Vidale, please, be here next time. We'll have more highlights from this episode if you missed it. And of course, it's the All Access Entertainment Podcast for the great Thea Vidale. Thank you so much.
thank
See
you
you
so
next
much,
time.
Joseph.